are live.
And we are live. Well, hello everybody who have joined us for this live stream in celebration of the new Kickstarter anthology, Figments of Passion. As you can see around the room, we've got a number of the creators involved. We've got Renee, we've got Benjamin, we've got Ian, we've got Karin and Sab. I hope I've said your name right, Karin. We've got Kyle, and we've got, no, I do apologise. So hopefully, as we go around each of you and you introduce yourself, you can correct my poor grammar and my poor pronunciation and tell us a little bit more about yourselves before we delve into your involvement with Figments of Passion. And we'll start with you, Renee, as the creator, the editor, and the brain trust manager of Figments of Passion. And before we do that, let me congratulate all of you on having already broken your goal with 9 days to go. So that's something very much worth celebrating. Congratulations. Renee, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little about your home country of the Netherlands, and a little bit about Figments of Passion before we go delve deeper.
Well, I'm Renee. I'm from the Netherlands. We started this project about 2 years ago, like right in COVID time. I'm not nervous. I'm sorry.
Don't you worry about it, because obviously COVID was a time when people did have, particularly in the creative community, when people, I think, did have time to take stock, to think, and maybe to want to do something a little bit more personal. Could I assume, not just you, Renee, but I'll talk to the others, this is an open question for everyone then. Whilst the theme is about passion, how personal are these stories to each creator? Benjamin, only because you're next to me, how personal is this story for you? And we'll keep an eye on the dog in case it wakes up during the...
Oh, I thought you said you're next to me, so I was a little frightened. I thought you were in the room with me for a minute. It's not necessarily personal to me, but it was a personal challenge because I'm normally very used to drawing like sci-fi and fantasy and just weird things that come up, things that don't exist. But I really wanted to make something that was pure drama, and there was like nothing imaginary to it. It was just a very heartfelt, dramatic story about trauma and family issues and all that stuff. Something I'm lucky enough not to have had too much of, but that was a challenge for me to really dive into somebody who did. So it's not necessarily very personal to me, but it was a personal challenge to conquer.
And do you feel that personal challenge was conquered?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've also had far more fun with it than I would expect. Because it liberated me not to have to think about a spaceship that doesn't exist yet, or think about what this creature looks like. I didn't have to do all that, and it just made me feel far more connected to the character, and because it's relatable to it, easier to relate to.
Excellent. And Kyle, as I'm not sure if you're the only writer here, but as a writer, how did you get involved? How personal is it to you? And how did you approach your particular tale in this anthology?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, the story is about kind of a very intense relationship between mother, father, and a daughter, and I don't have a poor relationship like she does in her family, but I think everyone has some sort of trauma or some sort of experience where they can relate to family issues or just finding a sense of belonging or being lied to, or a lot of these things that we touch on in the story. And digging deep and trying to figure out how somebody would feel in this situation. And the story is about looking at a very specific situation through the eyes of a child, an unreliable narrator, and then seeing it actually through the eyes of somebody else. So being able to put yourself into these different positions and tell the story through multiple different lenses that was the biggest challenge. I've never started a fire, probably not even a campfire, so I couldn't relate to that part of the story. But there's small things in there that's I think myself and probably anybody can kind of.
Well, I mean, you talk about starting a fire. What is actually your story about then, Kyle?
Oh yeah, so the story Hotter Than Hell. It's basically a story about a daughter who has a father who's a pyromaniac, and he gets caught and he goes to prison, and she feels betrayed by her father because he kills her mother in the act, and then it's about her kind of exacting her revenge and being very passionate and one-dimensional in her thinking, and then as the story goes on, it exposes about how closely related she is to her father and the actions, and makes her question herself at the end about what exactly is she doing, and that's kind of the theme of the story.
Well, thank you for that. And we move over. Is it then Karin rather than Karin, or am I getting that still wrong?
It's more Karin. In Dutch is Karin.
Right.
Yeah. With English language, I usually just go for Karin.
Okay. And again, your contribution, your collaboration, how did it come about, and what is it about for those people interested in maybe backing and picking up Figments of Passion?
It's about I usually make autobiographical comics, and I really like finding the stories in like the everyday side of things, but I wanted to make a fantasy story. So my theme was mostly finding when you have a passion, but you don't really want to take the step to pursue it, and you really need to very much need to just take a leap and make that step. And that was my theme. And I made it in a fantasy setting because I really wanted to make something that wasn't autobiographical for a change. That was my personal challenge in the COVID times. So that was basically the story is about a girl who worked in a bar of a family all her life in a tavern, and then a mysterious traveler comes along and kind of pushes her to make that choice to follow her passion to travel. Because then she sees like, my everyday life is nice, but if I really can't just wait for the perfect moment to come along to pursue my passion. So that's a bit what the story is about.
And Sab, what is your involvement with this particular tale?
None. I made my own thing.
Sorry, I do apologise. So again, I only assumed because the two of you together, your collaboration. So again, briefly, without giving too much away, of course, what's your contributions to this very varied and diverse anthology?
I made Deep Sleep, and Deep Sleep is a story about basically a hero and a villain trying to find common ground, trying to find a way to make their involvement with each other work without trying to change each other too much. It's really that opposites attract, but also how can you rhyme that? How can you actually make it work?
Sounds like something it sounds to me very original idea. That doesn't seem to be anything I've come across in the sort of very black and white world of superheroics sometimes. Was it a challenge then, or is it something you'd had in the back of your mind for a while?
It was very much a challenge because it's a very small part of a bigger story. And yeah, it did start out as a superhero story. It became a little bit more of a concept with a dream and a nightmare, so that it was easier to understand in this smaller portion. And that is where the challenge lay, because I went through like a couple storyboards before I could land on one that immediately made it clear to people reading it without having too much exposition, falling back on like easy solutions for maybe tired solutions for big chunks of world building. So yeah, that was mostly the challenge, making it work in such a small amount of pages.
Right, and of course, that I suppose that is a challenge if most of the creators we're talking to today, as your good self, is used to a more long-form kind of story. So thank you for telling us about that story. I'm going to move on to Ian, because Ian, you, like Benjamin, are used to do more superhero and science fiction. I know you've done a number of Judge Dredd comic strips recently, and you've got a few more on the drawing board. And yours is a tale of the wild, wild west, but I'm sure it's a little bit more than that based on the artwork I'm frantically trying to share on screen. Tell us a little bit more about your contribution with Jay Fairbair. Never heard of this guy. I heard he's quite an up-and-comer.
He's a young whippersnapper. Never done much in comics before at all. It was just kind of an idea between the two of us, actually, and the personal side of it comes for me in the relationships outside of the actual story, in as much as it's a friend in Renee that asked me to get involved with it, and it's a friend in Jay that I haven't worked with for almost 20 years now, doing Noble Cause as an image. So that's long and short of it. It's a vampire western. What's not to like? You know, it's got cowboys and it's got vampires in, but the passion aspect comes as part of the somewhat clandestine relationship that female lead has, and also the passion that's involved, perhaps more edging towards desire, that a vampire would have just living, and that kind of need for blood for sustenance and stuff. And it's also, as Jay likes to do, it's a historically correct setting, in as much as it's set in the 1880s in America when the transatlantic railway's been built, and it's meeting the west coast of America and the east coast of America, and there's a historical object called a golden spike, which was the last spike driven into the railroad to kind of finish the thing as they joined together. But there's strictly two golden spikes. So the story's called The Third Golden Spike. There's strictly two. One was actually driven into the railroad. The
historical golden spike, yeah.
Yes. Second one is in a museum.
Right.
But then there's rumours of a third golden spike. But no one knows where it is.
Right.
And can you imagine spikes and vampires, how they might come together?
I haven't got a clue. Do they work on the railroads? Is that how it works?
Oh, you've given the whole story away now. Spoilers. But it literally was me asking Jay, would you like to do this? Jay going, yes. What do you want to do? I said, can we do a vampire western? He said, yes. Here's the story. So that was it. Oh, and so for people that don't know, Jay Fairbair is a comic book writer who has written Superman, Titans, New Warriors, who did Noble Causes with me at Image, Copperhead at Image, about 2 or 3 other things. Yeah. And his most recent job was showrunner for the Supergirl series on TV.
Wow.
So, yeah, as you were saying, up and comer.
Up and comer. He'll get there eventually one day.
Yeah, he's a tryer. Gotta love him.
And I know Yukio's about to come on, but Luna, you were here long before Yukio, so I'm going to come to you now. To remember to unmute that. The reason we've got Luna on mute is because she's got some building work going on.
Yeah.
It's not that we're trying to sort of contain everybody in their little boxes.
Of course.
Hopefully, as Luna tells us her contribution, hopefully we won't hear too many workers in the background banging the hell out of a wall as we did.
I hope so.
I'm not hearing anything now. So Luna, take this chance to tell us a little bit more about yourself, because that's something I've not asked the other creators too much about, and also how you got involved with Figments of Passion.
Well, hello, I'm Luna. I'm an artist in the Netherlands, and I was actually brought by, or Renee asked me to join this project. We've known each other from school from a while back, and after we went our separate ways, she went on to work, and I went further with my academy, art academy. And then as I moved back to where we live now, we got in contact again, and we started working together, and she has pursued a career in comics, and as I was developing my style and my work, I started to realize that I too want to pursue a career into making graphic novels and comics. So when she asked me to join Figments, I was like, yes, are you sure you want me? But yes. So I got really excited to join this project. It's the first bigger project I have been part of, and it's been a fun ride. And
what is your contribution? What is your strip? I know you're the artist. What's your strip about?
So, well, if you look back, COVID, everything is a little bit gloomy. So I just wanted to make something whimsical. I wanted something that people look at and it looks like cotton candy. It looks sweet. It looks nice. It's just like a little fantasy fluff ball that makes people happy. And the passion element in me is that I really love it when I meet people that are so passionate about their work and that they can tell and stand there like, this is what I've done or this is what I've made, and I love that. So I incorporated that in my story, that a princess meets a sorcerer that tells tales and shows his magic in front of her, and she's like, I gotta have you. But by doing so, she is limiting his ability to perform, but also, explore further what his passion is about. So it's not only about loving someone's passion, but also having the ability to understand that sometimes you can't have your entire way, and you just have to see and give people the chance to pursue their passion further.
So we've got fantasy, we've got cowboys with Ian, we've got contemporary. I'm looking at some of the artwork styles. We've also got a lot of different varieties of artwork styles, some manga orientated, some sort of more gonzo out there artwork. So I want to return to Renee now before jumping in with Yukio. Hopefully Yukio's issues with the computer might have been sorted. Renee, hopefully you've managed to sort of get your tongue back in. What was
yes.
Obviously COVID was the start of it, and as I said at the top of the show, that gave people time to maybe think about projects that really meant a lot to them. So what was the start of this? What was the origin of this, and how did it blossom into the successful Kickstarter it's become today?
Yeah, I'm first of all, I'm very grateful and surprised. I'm not sure if that's the right word, that the Kickstarter was funded so quickly. So a massive thanks for everyone who have backed and supported this project.
And still 9 days to go.
Yeah.
Those all important 9 days as well. So who knows? Who knows where it might end?
I'm curious to see this. It's also my very first time doing a Kickstarter and actually hosting and managing a project like this, or at least this big. And the project is basically, I've talked to many artists, friends who has joined this awesome anthology about like how, 1 second, I hear an echo. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that we kind of want to make an anthology, and how cool it would be to make something new, have some change in comics we want to see. I've noticed a lot that people are staying a lot on their own islands. So you have the people read American comics, but they don't really read that much manga or European comics.
Yeah.
And same for people who read manga. They don't know where to start on the American comics. And in my opinion, every art style and every work of art has something beautiful. And I kind of wanted to put that in one book. So, and I know these awesome artists I've got to know these awesome artists over the years. And I was like, I'm just going to message everyone and see if they want to do something crazy. And everyone said yes. So, and that's how we got Figments. And I've been stuck on this title for a long time because I do want for a anthology having a kind of a binding theme.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you read it, you have like it's basically a book with all tiny little booklets in it. That's kind of how it started.
Well, I do like the global scale. I don't think I've come across that many anthologies that are bold enough to put manga next to more contemporary, next to more pop art, next to those different varieties, not just of stories, but obviously it's being a graphic medium, the lots of the different art styles as well. I think that's a very bold move. I think it's also maybe one of the successes behind it. And as you said, Renee, if you're not familiar with manga and you've picked this book up, it might encourage you to look for more manga. Or likewise, if you're a manga fan, you might be more taken by some of the more contemporary art styles that are around in comics today. I certainly think it's a very vibrant and exciting time to be in and around comics, particularly.
I'm very honest, I was also one of those people who read only manga for a long time, and I only started to pick up American comics after reading Super Sons from when.
Okay, that's quite recent, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a couple of years back. And then specifically the one that Kooijmans.
Yes.
I'm very bad at pronouncing his name. Worked on the series, and he's got like a lot of manga inspired influence in his work. And I see that a lot more. So I started researching more comics, and I found so many cool ones. It widened my my vision and my taste in comics.
And how do you find taking on the mantleship of being an editor? How different is that to being an artist who's often told by a scriptwriter and editor what to do, how to do it, and make those changes? Has it been a learning curve over the last 2 years?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like I said, it's the first time I'm doing it on this big of a scale. I did do a anthology in the past before with friends, but that was very small with 3 artists, including myself. So I'm still learning, but I do find the editing part and managing a project very inspiring and fun. So
really,
and something else than drawing sometimes. So I do like the change of managing and drawing.
And we mustn't forget about Yukio, who's right in the bottom hand corner. Yukio, if you want to unmute yourself, by all means, let us know your own contribution to this anthology, if you would please, and a little bit more about yourself and your own background, a question I'm going to be asking of the other creators right after you.
Sorry, but English not so good. So
okay.
What is question?
So how did you get involved with this book?
Okay. So first, I know Renee from a friend. So
yes.
And so did some Aku also just 1 minute.
We can hear you.
Okay. No, it's Aku for me. So.
Okay, we can.
But so actually I did some artwork for exhibition for Vanessa.
Yes.
And after she contact to me about the comic, and I thought, oh, it's so interesting. The many country artists do this one, so I said, oh, okay.
And are you happy with the results? What you did?
So usually I am illustrator, so I'm not a comic artist. So
Okay.
I think I'm happy. I think.
Good.
Absolutely.
Something new.
The work is really good.
And what I like about the title Figments of Passion is that, and I'm assuming this could work for other themes. I'm assuming this isn't going to be the first and last anthology you put out, Renee, now that it's been such a success on Kickstarter. Was that always the idea behind the Figments title? It could be Figments of Horror, Figments of Hate. I could go on, but I won't. Figments of Passion, is that going to be the first volume? Are you going to follow it up?
You're muted.
You're still on mute.
You're mute.
Still on mute.
Renee, you're on mute.
Whoops.
Better.
So, yes, the title is specifically chosen for that purpose. So, yeah, I wasn't sure how successful the book will be, or if people are interested in self-published anthologies like this, because yeah, there are a lot of comics. So yeah, depending on how the first issue would go, there might become a second one. And well, I'm very happy with the success it already has received. So yeah, indeed, the title "Figments of Passion" will be the title for this book, but it has options open for future new ones, like Figments of Horror, Figments of Love, or War. You can put any title on it. So
yeah. I like that idea of a branding.
Yeah, it's very tough to think about a title, because I was thinking, like, there are so many arts work in this book, and it's not something you can put into one category. So it needs to be vague enough to fit the whole picture, but also specifically enough to fit like a theme or have an image for what to expect of the book.
Yeah. Now,
can we do a Figments of Pizza?
That sounds actually amazing.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Circular print. that would mess up the printers,
now,
wouldn't it?
See. Now.
Quick, copyright it now.
Yeah, see, I've started the ball rolling now.
You have. But then what would you have as the main course if you had Figments of Pizza as the starter?
I don't care. Just because I've started the conversation, I want an extra 10%.
But before we do Figments of Pizza, let's go around the room again. I'm going to start with Luna this time, so we go around in the opposite direction. Now, if this comic book works, as I hope it does, there's going to be readers out there who are going to be introduced to all of you different creators. Where are they going to be able to find other work from you? And also, what's your journey to this point as a creator? And I'm going to start with you, Luna, who've touched on it slightly, because yours is I suppose, the start of the journey, where you've just come out of university, you've come out with the degree, and have you now been bitten by the comic book bug? Will you be doing more comics, do you think, in the future?
Oh, yes, certainly. And I cannot wait to explore more possibilities. And I've already talked to some people and publishers, and it's so exciting. And it's still very new to me, and there are still many ways I can improve and do better. But I am excited to go on that journey, and especially when I just got out of school. Then you have your first year of, all right, we're going to take it slow, we're going to make a plan, where this is what we're going to do, this is going to make a site, and we're going to do this, and then boom, you got hit with COVID, and then suddenly you have to do other jobs and make sure everything gets running, and cons get cancelled, and suddenly your whole plan is thrown out of the window. And slowly but surely everything is picking back up again, and I'm looking forward to. Indeed, I'm currently in the middle of making a house branding and a website, and I'm working on more stories. And currently, you can still follow me on Instagram. That's where I usually now mainly get my platform. But I'm excited.
And what's your Instagram handle for anyone interested?
I'm gonna give you good luck with that, because it's Hippities. It's perhaps a bit hard to pronounce, but that's my username, and on my persona I would pursue per se. And that's where you usually can find me. And otherwise, you can also find me at most Comic Cons, so in the Netherlands at least.
And I think I'm looking at your artwork now, Luna, if I've got the right one. And it's a lovely, what I would call lovely bubblegum colour palette that you're using. It really stands out. Minimal dialogue. Hopefully we'll be able to share this in a moment. If not, people can get onto the Kickstarter page and look for Figments of Passion, and they'll come across it. There we go. It's really, really sort of eye-catching, very breathtaking. And
Thank you very much.
Quite minimalistic dialogue as well.
The dialogue, I wanted to keep it personal. So the only dialogue is mainly throughout the princess, because she is telling her story or her point of view. And I like showing the pictures and with what you draw, and not necessarily with all of the dialogue. That's the way of storytelling I like to do. So I try to create as much character in the dialogue as much dialogue in the character as possible and in the pictures. So that's how I convey my message.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very visual medium, and I think it works. I mean, those 2 pages we've just seen work really, really well. Gives you a bit of a taste of the fantasy elements in your story as well, doesn't it? As well as a more contemporary setting. I'm going to go around now. Ian, I've touched upon, and you've also mentioned your own work on noble causes, as well as your recent work on 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. Where else might people be able to find you lurking this summer? Because I know you're you enjoy Comic Cons, and certainly they enjoy having you there as well, Ian.
Oh, bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. Cash is in the post. I see. I'm the old man here. I've been doing this professionally for 20 years now. So people can find me in 2000 AD, including Judge Dredd, that's currently on the drawing board as we speak.
Oh, luckily we can't see too much of that, otherwise you might get into trouble with Tharg.
Don't. I'm always in trouble with Tharg. So then over the years, it's been stuff like Noble Causes for Image and Marvel UK stuff. Covers for Xenoscope for 3 years.
Well, you've had your own successful Kickstarter recently as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that seemed to go quite well. So just put out my first art book. Only took me 20 years, but that seemed to go down rather well. So at the moment, it's mostly finding me in the pages of 2000 AD and Figments, and hopefully another, shall we say, multimedia project coming up soon.
Okay.
That I can't actually say too much about.
Sounds vague enough.
But,
multimedia sounds vague enough.
Well,
and interesting enough.
Well, interesting enough. Go on, I'll put my foot in it and I'll go Disney.
Whoa!
So we'll see if that carries on the way it's starting. But I'm a bit busy.
Yeah, and you're enjoying Judge Dredd, because I know we've spoken in the past about our mutual love of 2000 AD, and particularly Joe Dredd himself.
Well, so in at the deep end with this one a little bit, actually, because I've got 60 pages of Dredd to do at the moment. So
you must be dreading that. I'll get my coat and hat now.
You're a card. No, it's good. I'm sort of finally getting to a place where I'm reasonably happy with how I draw old stony face. But so I'm currently in Benjamin's territory at the moment. I'm making up sci-fi stuff,
right?
Which is always a joy. That's always a challenge, but so I'm half sci-fi and half cowboys at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Cowboys and Aliens. Surely that is, isn't it?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Yeah.
So, thank you for giving us a very brief tour through your illustrious career. Am I making you sound good? Illustrious career.
You are.
That's okay.
You are. Yes.
Well, I'll move along and listen to someone else talk about their illustrious career. And Karin and Sam, again, separately, obviously, otherwise you're going to be talking at once. Where could people find your previous canon of work if they are taken by your work in this anthology and want to know more about your style and more about particularly your autobiographical strips?
Me first? Yeah. Well, I'm mostly active on Instagram and on Twitter. We visit many Dutch cons, and I make many small press booklets and zines. I love making zines, so it's mostly physical little booklets that I like to sell and that I like to produce. But I'm also active on social media, so there you can find my autobiographical work and stuff like that. And I have some stuff in the pipeline, but that I cannot talk about yet. But that's
you wouldn't be a professional if you didn't have something in the pipeline that you couldn't talk about.
Right. This is the first time that's happened to me.
And what is your handle on Instagram for anyone who wants to find you? Because I know that's becoming almost an alternative stream for comic book creators and artists, isn't it? I know Mirka Andolfo started off that way. There we go.
There it is. Yeah, that's my my Instagram page. I make lots of like cat comics as well. So
excellent. Everyone loves cats.
My boys. So that's where you can find me, and also there you can follow to see which cons I'm gonna visit.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I usually take the more humorous kind of take with comics. That's also
have you come across the British artist Rachel Smith, who also does very autobiographical work, like some of the things I've just seen there?
Well, maybe if I see it, then I will recognize it.
You should look out for it, and I'd certainly recommend Rachel to you as well. We're getting a really good sort of idea of the kind of various artwork styles that you're doing. So there it is again. So people can always pause the video here, couldn't they, and take it on board?
Look me up.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, of course. And hopefully people will do that after seeing this. And Sab, what about your good self? Where can people find you?
Well, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is Sappig Art.
And you'll get your PA to get it up now. Brilliant.
That's it. I have one book published with Hanabi publisher here in the Netherlands. You can probably still order it through comic book shops and the like. And the second book on its way with the same publisher. I also do a webcomic called Canty Dreams, which is both on Twitter and Instagram, but also on Tapas. And I'm working on getting that one out on Webtoon as well, not as an original, but just for my own fun, because that's what this comic specifically is about. And yeah, as Karin mentioned, we attend conventions. We're usually known as CAS,
right?
Which is a Dutch for cheese.
Yeah, that's why we're together right now.
And I also make zines and minis, my own books. I'm gonna have another one out for the next convention we're doing next month, which is gonna be a collected work of my webcomic. And a lot of illustration work and stuff on the side.
And our zines, I mean, I know in Britain it's quite a big alternative scene, the zines. We've got our own conventions that pop up alternatively to comic conventions. Do you have that tradition in the Netherlands as well, then?
Not so much. There are a few small like events and comic conventions that have like artist alleys and such, but it's not such a big thing. And I also feel like creators that create in our style tend to go for minis more. So we actually just send our work to a printer and get them done in a nice booklet that doesn't have that handmade feel to it that a lot of like the underground zines have. We both sometimes do like printer zines ourselves as well, like just staple and fold them ourselves, but usually they go through a printer.
And these are easily available, or do they tend to be small runs that you take with you on conventions?
Small runs, definitely limited amounts, because it's small press, so it comes out of your own budget, so you can't just buy thousands of books and have them sit on a shelf. So we usually have runs between 50 and 100, and take them to conventions, sell them online if possible. So it's very small scale, but that's what makes it's nice to sell out a booklet and be able to invest the money you make of it back into another booklet, and then just keep it going like that.
I know there's a lot of passion with independent creators, isn't there, which keeps the whole scene vibrant and alive, really.
Yeah, and we've I've also done like a zine workshop before on the convention, just to get more people involved with just like you don't need to have a lot of equipment to make a nice little booklet that you can sell. So we're very passionate about zines and mini comics and stuff like that.
Well, that's lovely, because it's inspirational for the next generation as well, being able to realize that you don't have to work for the big companies to get your work out there. Plus, you've got more control over it as well, I suspect.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your contribution. We'll come back again in a moment or two, because we've still got a nice 20 minutes left. I'll go up to you, Kyle, as the writer. Do you use Instagram? Where can people find you? And also, what's your past history in the world of writing? The wonderful world of writing.
Yes. Well, you can find us at Paganini Comics on Instagram. Kind of use it both as a catch-all for the art and the writing.
Right.
So we've been Ben and I started writing. Doing comics about 4 years ago now. We have a lot of different projects in the pipeline, and just as things come our way, we kind of move things around to fit our schedules, because we don't make comics full time, so we have day jobs. But I do have some other things in the pipeline, writing wise. There's the Emergia, which is a serialized fiction that I started on the new Amazon Kindle novella thing. That's also in our Instagram. You can find that. And then, some new things that are coming up soon, where we'll have some more creative freedom and liberty for some publishing that's is in the pipeline. I don't want to talk too much and jinx it.
Of course.
More things will be coming out soon, I think. We have a lot of cool things that already we've been working on for a long time that are very close to release. So,
and of course, we've seen a lot of Benjamin's artwork there, but I will bring him into this as well and ask Benjamin. Obviously, you've mentioned your background in more science fiction orientated artworks.
That was just an example of like the madness that I usually have to draw. It's just things that don't exist yet. That is normally what I have to do. Science fiction is something I'm not actually too busy with. It's more like post-apocalyptic or more horror themed, those kinds of things. But therefore, like the Hotter Than Hell being like more drama and realistic was the fun part about it. Science fiction is not necessarily my strongest suit.
Okay. And where can people find? I mean, obviously, we've heard from your writing partner there, where people can find you online in physical formats, comic books, other anthologies. Where might people be able to go looking for your work?
Well, Cal and I met each other in games. That's where we worked on a lot. We worked for a couple really cool. We worked at Paladin Studios in The Hague, but released the game Good Job with Nintendo about 2 years ago, where we worked on closely together. Did we work on any other games together, Kyle, that were released?
None that were released.
No, it's part of the job, right? You work on a lot of things that never
How far
happened.
down the rabbit hole of game development do you have to go until you're told it's not going to be released? I'm only interested because my daughter's she's only 17, but she's doing a digital game and design course here in Britain because it's the closest thing she can get to animation, and she's had some success at that level, but I think that's something she's going to go into. So I'm asking more from a parental and a gamer point of view. How far down the development route do you and Kyle go before you're told this is not going to be released? It's not like fully created by that point, is it?
Sometimes it comes very early in the R&D phase when you have like a prototype or a pitch and sort of like, nah, this is not it. Sometimes you'll be working on it for years until when they pull the plug.
Whoa, that must be
very frustrating. To work down the train. Oh yeah, it is, but it's part of the job. You get used to it in the end.
Right, you do. Okay, that's interesting. Is there? I suppose this is a sort of loaded question. Is there more satisfaction in the more personal projects, the art and drawing projects, because maybe the development isn't as large, it doesn't take as long, and even if it does get axed, you've maybe not put as much time and your heart and soul into it?
Well, you do. You put your time and your soul in everything you work on. You make it your own, right? That is part of being in a team, creating something that doesn't exist yet. You have to make it your own. So you put your heart and soul in it, regardless if it's your own personal project or something you do for somebody else. And however, the creative freedom that comes with creating a project that is 100% for yourself is just a lot more satisfying, because there's nobody telling you how it should look or how it should be changed or what the audience should think. It's all about what you think the audience haven't seen yet, which is the best part about it.
I think I'm hearing, before we take this question, I'm hearing more and more from creators, whether they're new to the business or been here for decades, that, you know, you basically write and draw what you want to read, and then you tend to find the audience will follow with you or not follow with you, particularly as comics, I think, become more and more niche. We've got a question from Martin. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Martin. Is an anthology the means to introduce artists to a wider audience? I know we've picked up on that, but I don't think we've necessarily asked you directly. So I don't know, Renee, because you're the editor of all of this, and maybe this is your thought behind it. What's your take on this question? Do you think that by I think are you still muted, Renee?
Oh, Renee.
Oh, what?
Sorry.
I mean, come on.
I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
She must be farting or something, because no one else has
I
got
think
so.
No, I'm trying to manage everything here, and I don't want you guys to hear my...
You're doing a good job, by the way.
Okay. Now you guys can hear me.
So just so you just get your thoughts together. Was one of the thoughts behind it, and it's in the anthology, that it will introduce not just artists but writers to a wider audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most anthologies are, created out of passion and fun for the comic art, and people want to work together and to show a broad audience different artists. You can kind of I think compare it to musicians who feature and working together with another artist. But yeah, specifically for Figments, I really wanted to focus on the concept of having various art styles to introduce people to, but also artists from all over the world to get more, how you say that? To broaden our borders with people we work with, because I don't see that often. So I'm really happy we got so many people from literally everywhere. And I hope, we can continue doing this. And also, next to the artists, like I know the artists of most artists who are participating in this book. But also, everyone has their own way of working and having a team or doing it all on their own. So you create a lot of like a community, I would say, with everyone working together. So, for example, Ian is working with a writer from America, which is also, making it more global and having more people involved in this project, if I explain this correctly. So, I really like to see and meet more people who are working on this. For example, Carl as well. I got to know him from Benjamin, and so there are many, many more. So yeah. Oh, and we have Stephen joining as well from America.
Hello, Stephen. How are we?
Also a writer
to you,
for Figments. He's writing the story for Kenny. So yeah, I'm really happy to see people coming together who I otherwise wouldn't have met, and hopefully introduce to other people as well, writers, as artists, as colorists. Yeah.
Stephen, we were just picking up the question you can probably see on the screen at the moment. Is an anthology the means to introduce artists to a wider audience? And as if by magic, talking about the American writer Jay Fairbair, you pop up on the screen as well. What's interesting is your take on that, coming from that more westernized tradition that maybe us in Europe have as one of many different comics. I dare say in America, and is that Canada I see on your shirt? I dare say from that part of the world, maybe up until recent years, there was a lot less of the European tradition and maybe a lot less of the kind of art styles and writing styles that we're seeing in this anthology. Do you think an anthology like this can help creators like yourself meet new audiences through the readership?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But yeah, I'm actually, this is all new to me. Kenny, who did the art on our story is a friend of Renee's. He's been doing strips forever. And he said to me, I don't know what we're going to do for a script here. So let's just brainstorm and let's see if we can do something together. My background is actually mostly in marketing and in sales. But from a creative standpoint, I've done some video editing and I've written some music. But I've always been a fan of the medium of comics, and I go to cons here and there, and I've noticed in recent years we're getting more unique stuff from new artists in artist alleys and this and that. But it can, it's certainly hard for a lot of those folks. I know people that are there and trying to make sure they make their weekend, right? So the idea of, hey, let's bring together a bunch of people who have their own audiences, who have their own styles. Let's have them all contribute to this together. And that way their fans can become fans of the work of the rest of these folks. And hopefully, continue to build up everybody's audiences and give them a chance to share their work, which is all amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the artwork we haven't shared yet. That does give you, I mean, obviously we've seen a bit of artwork now from Luna and from Ian. There's Ian's. Also, we've got, is this Yukio's work?
Yes, that's Yukio's work.
Lovely.
Very beautiful.
It is wonderful. And we can see again, the sheer difference between the style of Ian Richardson, the style of Yukio. We go down the page now, another sort of different style, more cartoony kind of style. So it really is a good sampler. This is wonderful, this is. And hopefully people will jump on board after this. And even people who are reconsidering the Kickstarter, because as I said, there's only 9 more days to go. And once it's gone, it's gone. Is the idea then, Renee, that once the Kickstarter's finished, you'll overprint these anthologies so they're available for other creators to sell at their own booths across the rest of the convention season, or even sell through bookstores and online?
Yes, absolutely. Like the plan for now is to print over 1,000 to 1,500 books. So like a big bunch. And every artist and writer participating in this anthology will receive books to sell at conventions and in their own country. And yeah, that way we will show like a broader audience new work from all over the world. so that, and eventually, I'm looking to get it in comic book stores around here, but maybe also in America. I'm still looking for some contacts over there and see what we can work out. It is going to be self-published though, so I have some contact with people who can help with this. But yeah, the labor is all mostly done by me to put it out there. So I'm trying my best to spread these books as much as possible, because I want the world to see how awesome every art style in this book is, and everyone working on this book.
And this is yours that we're looking at now, isn't it?
No, that's actually from
isn't it?
Pictured and Noki from Taiwan.
Right.
The next one is
obviously.
mine.
There we go. There we go. Because I wanted to make it would be silly not to share your artwork as the person, as like I said, the brain trust.
I also drawn this. Yes. So this is my work in this comic, like, and that's kind of what I've enjoy about anthologies, especially set up by artists, is we all working on this project together and putting it out there. The theme passion is really literally also the passion for comics that we have created for this book. That's why also we did the Kickstarter. I managed to get some funding from my home city.
Excellent.
Who was really excited about this project, and they want to fund the printing. So the book will come for sure, even if no one would back it. We do the Kickstarter to get some more funding to be able to pay everyone a page price for their work they put in. But it's all very very made up with love and passion for this
you can
project.
See that. Certainly, you can see that in the artwork that's on. Now, we've got 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, so let's do the hard sell. What are some of the rewards as I go through? We've already got one person, Matt Payne, who says he's signing up for this after listening into our podcast. So, as we go through the rewards, let's go for the hard sell. Why might people want to pick up this anthology beyond all of the great reasons we've gone over in the last hour, which include the sheer diversity of stories, of genres, of art styles, and also that global feel. You can read manga from sort of the Southeast diaspora. You can read more European style stories. You can see more American style stories from the likes of Stephen and the likes of Jay and Ian. What else might get people excited about this anthology?
Right, I'm going to chip in first. This is one of the higher reward tiers, right? So mine and Jay's story is only, Renee, is it 13 pages long?
13, yes.
Yeah, 13. Thanks, boss. But we're offering, at the moment, 6 out of the 13 pages of original art.
Wow.
So you can actually
there we go.
Pledge on the higher end of the scale, and as part of your pledge, as well as getting a ton of other stuff in the physical book and PDFs and wallpapers and all sorts of other stuff, there are actually going to be 6 pages of original art available for people.
And can I just say, Ian, I know what your pages go for at a comic convention. So to offer that for £300, including all of those add-ons, is something of a steal.
Bargain. It's a bargain.
Steal sounds better. Bargain, yes. Yeah. But also, I noticed Renee's offering a commission as well. Let's keep to the high-end ones, shall we? Because I do think that at Luna there, I do think it's something special for people. And I think you say high-end, €300, I don't think is... I've seen a lot more expensive high-end ones on Kickstarter. Renee, anything else you want to add to that? Who's doing the cover for it, by the way?
Romano has done the cover. Romano Molenaar. He's a Dutch artist who has worked for Batman and Storm right now. I think Red Sonja is the title for, in English. So yeah, he made an amazing cover for Figments. Yeah, I asked also for him for his story, but he didn't have time, unfortunately, for that. But I'm happy to have someone do the cover for Figments who doesn't have like a full-fledged story in it, so it's very diverse that way. So yeah, I absolutely love the cover. Yeah, and that's my commission reward.
Well, I thought we'd finish where we almost began, with a spotlight on you, Renee. I think it's worthwhile. So
yeah,
I suppose
you can get like amazing commissions for to back this project and help funding our goal. Also, one of the reasons we are very hyped for this, and we are hoping to get our first stretch goal, is because if we hit 10,000 euros, we will also print like a concept art book for people to enjoy the process of creating this really awesome book. There we have Romano.
And there we go. And hopefully people can see
if you go to
the address
on Kickstarter. Let's see.
It should come up.
Updates.
Just buffering a little bit. There we go. Let's go on to the updates.
And I would say a few back there we have like some samples from the art book, what is going to look like. Let's see.
Getting close. This might be it. I think it might be. Yes, it is. There we go. There we go.
So basically, the art book will come for sure in a digital version, but if we hit 10,000, we will print it in a concept art book with thumbnails, sketches, the process of how a comic artist creates their work, character designs. Because I've seen all this beautiful work before. Like there's a lot of work been put into a comic than what you see the final result. And I see a lot of these sketches and concept art from the creators before they start working it out. So yeah, I found it a pity not to share this. So we're going to make a PDF of this, but if we hit 10,000, we will print it as a physical book like that. And
excellent.
That's really epic.
That is pretty epic. Yeah, it looks really nice. And people like the behind the scenes stuff, don't they?
Yeah, it's really, personally, I love to see the process behind the artists, like the decisions they made and the different ways they work on their comics. Like my thumbnails are not as pretty as Benjamin's thumbnails. If I thumbnail, it's very much stick figures. So it's really interesting to see everyone's process behind their work.
Lovely. And so to wrap it up then, we've still got 9 days to go on Kickstarter. People can easily find it either under your name or Figments of Passion, which might be the easy way to find it. And
yeah, literally, I've done it myself. If you go to the Kickstarter homepage and go to search and just type in Figments, you can find it so easily.
Brilliant, brilliant. All that's left for me to do is thank everyone for their time today. Thank Renee for her time, not just today, but all of the work you've all put in the book and still continue to do. So big
round of applause for Renee.
Also for yourselves, because everyone has worked so hard on this. And I'm like, I'm going to take this opportunity to also say a big ass thank you, everyone who worked on this project. I'm so, I have no words on how grateful I am for your work and participation in this. I really, really love this. Love working.
Yeah, we only did it because you asked us to do it.
Yes, so thank you very much. I love you guys. It's
a nice
it's getting emotional now,
isn't it?
So yeah, thanks also everyone for tuning in. Yeah, looking forward to the book.
And as the lady in control of the controllers, if you want to sort of fade us out or shut us off, what we can do is, I'm assuming people can catch this on YouTube as well, can they, Renee?
Unfortunately not, because YouTube was very like, oh, great, we verified your phone number for some reason, and then they said like you have to wait 48 hours before you can start any live stream. I was like, wait, what?
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But literally, if I'm sure a bunch of us will post the link and stuff, but if you then go onto Renee's Art of Renee Facebook page, you should be able to rewatch it and stuff there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see if once YouTube allows things normally, seeing if I can download this and upload it on YouTube anyways.
I'm sure
you do. Yeah, sure.
Have a good weekend, everybody, and thank you very much, Renee.
And thank you, Alan.
Always a pleasure, Ian, to open my mouth.
Good job, Ollie.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, everyone.
Now go to that pub.
Oh, done.
All right, I'm gonna see if I know how this works to shut this.
We're just gonna be screaming forever.
Let's see.
No privacy.
No, this is not it.
Oh, you already.
Hey,
and that's you.
That's me. How does this work?
Leave studio possible? Oh, no, because that'll take you off completely.
That'll just take all of us.
Yeah. There should be a big red button that says stop, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. How could I have missed that? All right. Yes, I found it. Thanks, everyone. And
thank you. And all
the
best for the last few days.
Yes. Bye.
Yeah.